ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is yours truly, the Lord Nelson, that is, on Live and Loud with the Lord. And we have listen, do I say it all the time? We have special guests? Yes, I do. But is this guest a super special guest? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. We have the present frontman for Stuck Mojo, Robbie J. Fonts, Robbie the Ripper. Man, we could go on and on and on, man. This dude is doing a lot of stuff. And we are going to have a great conversation. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Lord Nelson. This is a true honor. Can't believe it.
Stop it, man. It's you. It's all about you, baby. Man, yeah, I'm just going to be comfortable, man. We're going to have a good time, man. I'm asking questions. Yep. I know you're always upfront and honest, and you're one of the ones that like to keep it real and stay true to the game about how you feel and what's going on. So we're going to get into it, man. It's going to be love.
Oh, yeah.
So first two questions I always like to ask. Where are you from?
Where am I from? I am from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. I was born and raised there. And then I moved to the States when Rich contacted me for Mojo. I came to Atlanta, spent some time with him working on the record for a couple months. And then I came back to Montreal and I was living there for a bit. And during my time in Montreal, I met my wife. And now I currently reside in Chicago, Illinois. That's where we live.
Yeah. So how good is the pizza there? Is the deep dish really that good? I mean, I've had some of it.
I think it's like probably people from here are overhyping it. They're very proud of it, but I like the New York style pizza where it just like drips down like that. That's pizza to me.
Better, huh? You like the thin one, okay?
I do, but it is interesting having the deep dish pizza. That's a whole experience, so it's definitely something everyone should try.
Yeah, we've got one here. I enjoy both. I really do. I enjoy both. I mean, I'm a big guy, of course. I like to eat, but I enjoy.
Oh yeah.
So, what is the best thing about being from Montreal?
It's a really great place to be a metal fan. I truly appreciate the metal scene there. In Quebec, there are some political problems with like between English and French speaking people. Really? That's a thing there where I'm from. So like I grew up with that because I was what they call an Anglophone, meaning I'm an English speaker, and the English speakers are the minority where I'm from. So it's like not really so much about race there. It was always like about language growing up in the 90s.
Wow.
It could get a little tense, but when I grew up and like it was rougher in my childhood, but then I became an adult and I started understanding where French people were coming from and working with them and getting to the root of things. I understand why there was tension and animosity for many years, but now it's a very open and cool place, and there's not really much of that going on anymore. But the metal scene was always something that was always awesome and welcoming between everybody and anyone. It was always great. Like the fans in Montreal love every single style of music. Like they love hip hop, they love heavy metal, they love the melodic death metal from Europe, the symphonic bands from there, the new metal bands coming up, and they love jazz. We have the Montreal Jazz Festival every year. There's a blues festival. It's so eclectic for like cultural and the music scene. Like it's so welcoming there, and it's great. It's honestly one of the best places to play live shows at. The crowds are really into it if you play in Montreal or Quebec or anywhere there.
Preferably I can get up there sometime, man, most definitely. So Montreal Alouettes, correct?
Yes, that's the Canadian football team.
Yeah, so Montreal once again team. Like I told this guy named Dave Warden, I don't know if you watched that episode of mine, but he's a photographer and he lives in Vancouver. And he's amazing with, the fire and the flame and all those things like that. But, we were just talking about the Canadian football because, I'm older, of course, and I used to watch it on ESPN like crazy.
Oh, awesome.
It was different. It was different. The field wider and all, but it was different, but it was beautiful. And just like we talked about Warren Moon and Doug Flutie and was it Ty Detmer? I can't remember the other guy we talked about, but we talked about a lot. Anyway, I watched a lot of that, man. So.
For the Alouettes, our boy was, for a long time when I was growing up as a kid, was Anthony Calvillo. And he was an American player.
Really?
But he was the quarterback for the Alouettes for a long time. And he won them a lot of Grey Cups, which is
great
the equivalent
cups.
to our Super Bowl.
Grey Cups, that's right. I was about to say Stanley Cup, but no, the Grey Cup.
The Grey Cup, definitely. CFL. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Definitely. Okay, now let's move a little bit more. No, I'm going to ask you one more question about Vancouver.
Go ahead.
So what food are you guys famous for?
In Montreal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely the poutine. That's what everybody talks about.
See, I watch it on TV, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's French fries with really greasy gravy topped on it, and we have these special Quebec cheese curds, and you can only get it there, and they are not allowed to export it outside of the province. Even it's not even allowed to go to other places in Canada because of the bacteria in the dairy that's made with it. So it's like a health thing in case like germs or viruses develop for some reason. But I'm making it not sound appetizing, but it is phenomenal. It is the chewiest, awesome cheese you can find, and it's this awesome junk food. I always pig out when I go back up there, and that's our go-to.
I got you. I laugh at that because, you know, I watch all kinds of things. I watch a lot of television, and I would always see that with, you know, whether it was Anthony Bourdain or Andrew Zimmern, who've gone up there and, you know, see the people eating there. Oh, this is what we're eating. So it looks good. You know, it looks good. It looks very appetizing to me. So.
Oh, yeah. And like I was just like laying out, that's the basic. What I said, the basic is just the fries, the gravy, and the cheese curds. Mm-hmm. But they started doing like these like craft poutines where they're like putting like steaks in it. Like they're putting like hot dog sausages, like making it crazy. Kind of like how the burgers are here in the States where they're like incredible in a lot of places all across the nation. They're doing that too in Quebec, where they're just making these like ginormous poutines stuffed with meats and all crazy stuff and peppers. It's awesome.
Well, what's wild is that I stopped eating a lot of that stuff, man. I'm just getting older. I had to eat. Now I'll still eat cheese, though. I probably eat the curds, though. But you know, a lot of other stuff I started eating. But anyway, beyond that, I always ask those questions because I want to know about the places that I've never been because I want to come up there. You know, I really do.
Oh yeah, it's a great downtown that Montreal has, and it's a very small city. I think it might be a little underwhelming for somebody who's ever been to like the bigger cities here in the States, like New York or Chicago or Atlanta. Those are huge. Like when I came here, I was like, whoa, these are like 10 times the size of where I'm from, because Montreal is actually on an island in Canada. So it's like surrounded by water. It's surrounded by the St. Lawrence River, and it's just like this tiny city, and you can walk across Montreal's downtown within like maybe an hour or an hour and a half. You could get from one end of it to the other, and it's very small, and it has a very cool underground city too. There's like a whole underground strip mall. Like the entirety of the downtown is like underneath. There's like another city, like a mirror city right underneath it, with a bunch of shopping malls. Yeah, that connects to about 2 of the metro lines. That's our underground railway system. Yeah, it's very cool. It's a very cool spot.
I tell everybody I'm very visual, and I just like picture that. So that seems very inviting to me. I'm going to tell you because I like to go fishing. I like to fish or whatever. Now I don't know. Do you fish? Do you?
I don't fish, but I would love to. I would love to go fishing.
Because, you know, I always would see the muskie up there and you know, the northern pike and the smallmouth or whatever. I'm going to get to where I'm a cornball now, but I do like fishing a lot. And so I've watched all those shows. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have gotten through all the preliminary stuff. Now we'll get into the deepness. But first of all, I got to ask you this, man. Let's talk about your love for wrestling. Oh. How long have you been a fan, and how long have you been wrestling? I've watched you, man. I've watched you. What's awesome. The deal? I love your energy. I said, this dude is a star, man. What's the deal?
Thank you. My love for wrestling came from my dad's parents. My grandparents were really into wrestling. They were Portuguese immigrants, and they really loved, I believe his name was Antonio Rojas. I think that was his name. And they loved the Canadian wrestler Edouard Carpentier growing up. He was doing these incredible acrobatic maneuvers that a lot of the wrestlers nowadays like try to do. That's the norm. But back then it was mostly the big men doing, you know, just slamming stuff and being all big and crushing everybody. But he was doing all this flippy stuff. So my grandparents liked him a lot. But I was actually growing up like going to their house, they would put on the VHS tapes of the 80s wrestling. So that's what I actually grew up on. I'm a 90s kid, but they would always play me stuff with like Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart doing tag team stuff against Demolition and the Rockers, stuff like that. So I was always into the tag team wrestling stuff. And yeah, growing up with that style, the Mr. Perfect, Coco Beware, incredible wrestlers, very energetic and lots of personalities, the big personalities. So I grew up on that. And then I stopped watching it for a while. And then when I was in elementary school, my friends started telling me about wrestling. One of my friends was like, "Oh, you got to check out this guy, Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero is like this incredible wrestler. He was the WWE champion at the time." Right. And that got me into wrestling. Once I was watching like Triple H and Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero matches, and I started watching during the Ruthless Aggression era, and it hooked me in for a bit, and then I ended up, it was like one of these things where I broke my arm. Actually, a lot of people don't know this, but when I was 11, I was a soccer player at the time, and I was in school and had nothing to do with soccer. I was just messing around with my friends, and like I jumped over this like little pole. I tripped, and like my chest landed on my elbow. Ooh. So it felt like my elbow went to my wrist, and I fractured my right arm. And now my arm's been crooked ever since. And I was like, this is it. I'm done. I can never be a wrestler doing this. Right. Like my arm's completely shot. And even when I joined Stuck Mojo, my arm was really like rough on me at the time. I was working these warehouse jobs, and my body was just shot. And I was telling Rich, I'm like, man, I'd love to like help out with loadouts and stuff, but I don't know, my arm's really doing bad. So the thought of wrestling just like, it got crushed me, like not being able to do it when I was a kid. So I stopped watching it for a long, long time. And then I fell into music eventually. But yeah, that's the story of how I got into wrestling back then. And then, I started doing the music stuff. And Fozzy was really busy with things at the time. So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm feeling a lot healthier. I was actually doing the DDP yoga that Rich and Chris are always promoting all the time. Right. And that actually did help my arm out. It really fixed my arm. Doing those exercises, so I got to a healthier spot, and we had a break. So I was like, okay, you know what? If I'm going to learn how to do wrestling, professional wrestling, I want to learn from who I think is the best in the world today. So I went to Seth Rollins' school, Black and Brave Wrestling Academy in Davenport, Iowa. It happened to not be too far from where I live in Chicago. It's about 3 hours away. And that's how I got into it. So I applied, and they accepted me, and I went there, and it was 3 months of hell. It was 3 months of the most painful things I've experienced in my life. Yeah. It was brutal, but yeah, and I try to do it as much as I can now, but the music has been really picking up lately, and
it has.
I haven't had enough time. Whenever I do something, I really want to give it my all, and I never want to half-ass anything. So it's like a thing where I respect the people in the wrestling business, and I respect what they do. So I never want to do wrestling to just like pop in and take somebody's spot. I want to earn every opportunity I get for anything I do. So I know it takes time. So I'm doing the music thing now, and then once things slow down a little, because they eventually do. Everybody knows this. You're involved with so many other people. You have to take breaks, because not everybody can go at 210% all the time. They need some time off, so I'll get back at it when I can. But yeah, just focusing on the music for now.
No doubt, man. But once again, man, your energy and stuff, man, with wrestling, you can tell that you know what you're doing. And so when I saw that you went to that school, I was like, yeah. So I know a guy down here, what does Reese call himself? I can't even remember, but was one of those really good at wrestling. I introduced him to Chris a while back, and he was just so excited about. He still is, and he still does it. And just like Melanie, I'm sure you met Melanie, right? Over in England at Russell's. Melanie Connolly.
No, actually, I
meet Melanie. I know she had to come to the shows over there, but Melanie wrestles also. She's out there doing her thing. I watch some of her matches. I always tell her, "Am I going to have to come over there and slap somebody up?" Throwing her around or something like that. But it's awesome, man, to be in something like that and have a passion for it, and to do it, because after talking with Chris, to know how difficult it is.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Then, as you said about your arm, people get hurt all the time, and you still got to go out there and perform. So
Yeah.
it was wild. It was wild. All right.
Yeah,
So
you have to develop calluses like in wrestling. You get like a whole callus on your back, like just learning how to take the bumps properly. And
right,
it's plywood. You're falling on
right,
plywood. It's like
right.
people think it's like some mattress or cushion. It's not. It hurts. It's like falling on the floor. So I
I
try to
know it.
practice as much as I can at home. I'll take a back bump here on the wood floor. Like I don't care. Like you got to keep in shape. You got to keep in wrestling shape to be like able to do it whenever. Because if you're not doing it, like any muscle, if you try to lift like 300 pounds in a bench press for not doing it after 4 months, you're gonna like tear something. So you got to keep at it.
I know.
Yeah.
Most definitely. You speak the truth. You speak the truth. Okay. Now we will get into the music. Let's get into it. So let me see if I got this right. Hasta la muerte.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that boy is pretty good. Repentance, Stuck Mojo, and now Sicksense. Okay,
Yes.
you definitely have touched on a few different genres of metal.
Yep.
I love both your rapping and your heavy vocals.
Thank you.
So great job, bro. Great job. So how easy or hard is it to approach both vocals with the same passion and energy?
Oh, it's that's a tough one. To approach them with the same passion and energy. It was kind of a thing where these music styles were seeded in me early on. Like my cousins were always playing hip hop music at the time, the 2000s music, like 50 Cent, Lil Wayne, Eminem. That was very popular at the time. So it was just always playing in the background for me. And I wasn't necessarily into that music when I was a kid because my dad raised me under rock and roll. He was like playing AC/DC, Aerosmith, Queen, all that stuff. That was his style of music. Jimi Hendrix, Elvis Presley.
Gotcha.
So I was growing up with that when I was younger. But then as I was getting older and like hanging around my cousins, two of them were like really into hip hop and that's all they would play. So it was lingering in the background for me. And I'd say the first song I probably learned was actually Forgot About Dre with Dr. Dre and Eminem.
Really?
I thought
Yeah.
I thought it was like a great flow and I was like, this is interesting. So I learned it when I was like rapping along to it around like 10 or 11 years old. Like I was very young when I was doing that. And then I really got into heavy metal though. Became like the music that I fell into myself, that I discovered on my own. None of my friends listened to it. None of my family members listened to it. And I fell into it by playing video games. I was playing Tony Hawk's Underground 2. Then they had these soundtracks with like Lamb of God in the background and stuff like that. And then I'd play Guitar Hero and Rock Band, the video game. Really got into that. I was like, this is a lot of fun. And that's where I discovered Slipknot in Guitar Hero 3. I heard Before I Forget. And it took me through this rabbit hole through going on YouTube and just like discovering all these bands. So like I went from like listening to Slipknot to finding Whitechapel, Suicide Silence, the Black Dahlia Murder, As I Lay Dying, and these vocalists in these bands became my basis and who I wanted to emulate as a screamer, as a metal vocalist. So I spent when I was 13 years old, after school every day, I would just come home and I would scream. I would scream for hours, just practicing, driving my mom absolutely crazy. Playing this devil music and just screaming my ass off, and that's how I got into it. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's a great story. I like it because I always ask people, are they genre snobs or not? I know I'm not. I listen to a lot of stuff. I grew up a military kid, my story, and I've listened to everything. So if it sounds good, it's just good. It's just great music. That's all I know. I don't know anything else,
That's how it should be. And sometimes you don't necessarily need to understand what's going on in the music to appreciate it. I don't need to be a guitarist to know what a good guitarist sounds like.
Sounds good. It touches me in a way. It might not touch anybody else, but I don't care. It feels good to me. That's it. So you've got a definite flow when you're spitting. You do, man. I like it. I'm telling you. So to me, you took it back because your style kind of reminds me of Bones as far as for Stuck Mojo. So how much do you write? How much did you write on Here Come the Infidels?
Oh, I wrote a lot, but I wanted to add about my rapping. I actually got it I started taking it more seriously when I was about 17, 18 years old. I was playing in bands before that, doing other stuff. Like I was a drummer in one band. And I didn't really stick with it too much because immediately I decided, hey, I want to start rapping. So I took it seriously. And what I actually did was I bought and I read the book, How to Rap.
Really?
And this was a tremendous book that came out with like all the legends, like they wrote their parts and like they explained their methods and how they do it. And it's like this Bible of like knowledge for any rapper out there. And that's when I really started figuring out how to write, coming up with the metaphors and the analogies and where to use them, the flow, the way you deliver things, how you speak, you know, make everything make sense, basically. Like every piece of word that you use in a song forming your rhymes, it should be used as a tool to make the song better and tell a story. So that's when I really started getting into it, and I started listening to like Eric B. and Rakim and Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, like Bone Thugs and Harmony, like the goats of the genre.
That man said Cool G Rap too. Yes, what are you talking about? Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Cool G Rap's he doesn't get the respect, but I mean he does within the community. But he's one of the best.
Yes,
one of the best. There's no
absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
He's an incredible storyteller. So that's what really put me on listening to those guys and just trying to pay respect, pay homage to them. For me, it's like I find in the metal world is very respectful towards the bands and the artists that came before them. But I find in like today's modern hip hop culture, I find a lot of like the new kids have no idea. They're like, Cool G Rap, who's that? And it's like, what do you mean you don't know Cool G Rap? Where are you coming from? Like, how are you here? What are you doing here? So I always just want to pay homage and respect. And I if I ever got into a position where I could ever help anybody out, like I would love to play shows and promote these artists that came before me in that capacity, because I find some of them it sucks to hear that some aren't doing too well nowadays, and it's like they should be in good spots, because it's like everything that any successful rapper has is because of these people who came before them. All this hip hop talk aside, going back to your initial question about the writing process. When I joined Stuck Mojo, I didn't know. I had no idea. So I was in Hasta La Muerte at the time, and how it happened was we just put out our very first single and music video, and it was my first ever original piece of music I ever published. Really? It was for our song Pour Another Shot, and a couple days after it came out, our guitarist Dave in the band, he tweeted out to Rich on Twitter. He was like, hey, check us out. We got compared to Stuck Mojo, the writer, this journalist, Carl Biguy, he said we sound like Van Halen gets Ugly Kid Stuck Mojo'd. Okay. So our guitarist Dave sent him the article, and he actually checked out the video and he liked it. So Rich contacted me immediately, and this was like 4 days after our video came out on YouTube. And he was like, hey, I'm interested in having a bunch of guest features on the upcoming Stuck Mojo record. Here's 3 songs. Let me see what you can do with them. So I think 2 of them were already written, like he had the lyrics written for them. It was what ended up being Rape Whistle and Blasphemy. He wrote those, but he first sent me one track that ended up becoming a Tambourine, and that's why it sounds a little different from the other songs, because I was trying to write with the Hasta La Muerte party vibe in mind, and he wanted to have like a ZZ Top type of lyrical content going on for that song. So he came up with the chorus, he wrote it, and like I heard the singing on it, and then I came up with all my verses for it. So I was trying to do like some goofier stuff, not knowing that this was meant for like a proper Stuck Mojo record. I thought it was just like, it's Robbie from Asta feature, whatever. I could be me. So that's what I did for that. But then when he flew me down to Georgia and we started working in person, he started sending me more songs to work on. And I would get a song, like he sent me, when I went down there, I wrote right away, the song that became Here Come the Infidels, the title track. I wrote all the verses for it, overnight. And I went back the next day and I was like, here's what I came up with. And he was like, wow, you are so quick with this. And he was like, he just looked at Frank, was like, whoa, what's with this kid? Like, how does he do this? So it was a very cool process. And actually for most of the songs, I'd say like I wrote the majority of the lyrics. The only things I didn't do, I wasn't confident at the time, was I didn't do any of the singing lyrics. Not many of them. The only song I did some singing lyrics, and that I did most of the lyrics for, was Charles Bronson. That was the song where most of the lyrics on that one are me. Except for the Charles Bronson. Rich came up with that. He's like, I just want to have this song called Charles Bronson. It's gonna go like that. Fill in the rest. Fill in the blanks. And I did. And I even came up with some of the lyrics for the singing part. And then Rich took my ideas and made it his own. Did his thing. But yeah, it was a really cool process working with Rich Ward and getting to record with Andy Sneap. Andy was great. He was they taught me so much, like, about recording and music production, just the moments, like, just in passing, looking at what they're doing. It wasn't like they were showing me, like, oh, this is how things are done. It was just I was observing and taking notes and listening and paying attention to their methods.
No, that was love, man. Yeah. Andy Sneap's a cool dude, man. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Most definitely. But working with Rich is super easy. You know, you just connect with him, and I know that you did also. We just had a ball, man. It was just easy. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't mind him, you know, pushing me to do this or do that or whatever like that. We had a great time, and, you know, I had the utmost respect for him, you know. Yeah,
because he taught me, working with Stuck Mojo was interesting, because, like, in Asta, I was just doing almost what I wanted to do, but it was also in a box. Like, in Asta, I felt like it was a very party vibe band, so I was trying to write lyrics in that manner, even though as a person, I'm not really too much of a party person, at least not anymore, certainly not. And it's not who I wanted to be either. But then working with Rich, he was like, okay, it still has to be Stuck Mojo. So we still have to be writing in a way that fits with what the band is supposed to be about. And his vision for it. It's his baby. So you have to respect that working with other band members like that, especially if they're veterans and they've been around for a while and using that band name for a while. Indeed. So I was, I wouldn't say limited, but it put me in this mindset that I can't just write whatever I want. I have to write with what he wants. And that was a challenge, and I love doing that because it taught me that, hey, I could be writing for other people too. I don't need to be writing for myself. Like, whether I'm a part of a project or not, I know that I'm capable of writing lyrics for other artists as well. So it was a great experience doing that with Rich.
Awesomeness, man. Awesomeness. I love it. Yeah. See, ladies and gentlemen, we know good people. We know talented individuals who are about music. This isn't a game. This is real, man. Rob the Ripper, man. Listen, I like that. But every time I say that, I always hear it with somebody saying it with an accent. Rob the Ripper. I just hear it like that because I probably saw it on television, something like that. I can't remember what it is, but I saw something like that. But anyway, it's all love. Repentance.
Yeah.
God for a Day.
Yeah.
Another amazing project with a great lineup of dope musicians. Is Repentance still together, or have you moved on to Sicksense?
I have moved on from Repentance and working with Sean Glass. We had entire disagreements, he and I and the rest of the band. So me and the rest of the band were on the same page, and he was just doing his own thing. And all I'll say about that, we never got the chance to really say this in like any form of medium, really, except for putting out a statement, because Repentance never said anything about this. But it was basically like a point where, you know, he was making decisions that we weren't on board with. And we joined that band Repentance thinking we were supposed to be business partners and like an actual band and like kind of a democracy. Now, in every band, there needs to be someone to lead the ship, right? And that's fine. But, you know, if I'm going into something, I really want to be invested in all forms of it. Like, I love business. I helped run my father-in-law's convenience store here in Chicago. So it's like, I know how to make money and I know how to do customer service and make sales with customers and, you know, treat people well. And I had a vision for what I wanted to do and how to run a band and, you know, take care of merchandise, have our online store, and just make deals that make sense for the band. I'm not opposed to working with record labels, but it has to make sense. And if like I see something in the contract that's like, hey, can we change this or that? I think it's reasonable and fair because I can take care of it on my end. I don't think that's unfair to ask for if it's like, you know, something that's binding you. You know, I want to be able to have the freedom to do what I want because I am involved in other projects in other bands or outside of music. So we had complete disagreements with Sean. So the rest of us just split off. We're like, okay, You want to do this, take it in that way, and it's fine. And we'll go another way. And we are doing that. So the problem was, the biggest problem we had was our drummer, Kanki. He had colon cancer, and he was very sick. So we haven't been doing anything primarily because of that. You know, we were like letting the frustration and the wounds heal from like our bad experience working in Repentance. But the rest of us, so Mike, our bassist, Marcus, our lead guitarist, our drummer Kenki, and we decided to move on, and we changed the name to Divinity Plague. But we're working on songs right now, so
okay,
it's going to be fun. But trying to keep in mind the spirit of what we wanted Repentance to be, and do our thing. So it's like a mix of melodic death metal, European style, with the American thrash. We're gonna keep that up, and we also got our new member, Nick Shabatura. He's the second guitarist. Yeah. Okay.
Hey man,
so that's what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah. Much love to Kanki, and did I say his name right, Kanki?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Send my prayers to him. My mom, she suffered from that, many years ago. So I understand it, and I know how difficult it can be, most definitely. So.
Yeah, my grandfather passed away from colon cancer too, years ago.
Yeah. So prayers and love to him, man.
Yeah. He's doing good though. He is in remission, so
cool.
It's great. Cool. He's blessed. He's blessed. So he's recovering. It's just he's having a hard time. The chemo and the immunotherapy mess with his hand-eye feet coordination. So it's a process. He has to relearn how to play drums the way he wants to be playing them comfortably. Right. So but he's doing good. So
great, man, great, definitely.
God is good.
Yes, indeed, all the time. So Sicksense. Seems like you've added all the elements from melodic to rapping to hardcore with this band. What was the inspiration to have a female co-lead like Vicky Sarakis? Right? Yeah. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Vicky Sarakis do work with you, even though I know more now. but that's love. How was it working with Vicky?
Vicky is tremendous.
Yeah.
Oh, she's great. So like she always runs by her lyrics that she does with me in the Agonist beforehand. So I always had a little bit of that working with her, and like whenever she gets like a guest feature to do, I'm always helping her out with that. So it's always great, and she's an incredible lyricist and vocalist. I think she's one of the best singers in metal today. And like, I'm not trying to be biased that she's my wife or anything. I know it really sounds like that. Not doing a good job selling that, but I truly think she's incredible. So working with her was a no-brainer. Our guitarist in Sicksense, Bran, he wanted to he introduced the idea of like, hey, I love what you're doing, Rob, with the screaming and the rapping. You're killer. But he's like, I really want there to be a singer in the band too. What do you think about working with a second vocalist? And I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. I just told him, for me, the lyrics are very important, and the story we tell is very important. So whoever we work with, I just want them to know, not to be a boss or tell them what to do or how to write. I just have a vision for how I want the songs to sound and be about. So as long as they don't end up getting in the way with that and they're cool with it, and they sing what I want them to sing,
right,
that'll be great. So I was like, hey, I asked, why don't we work with my wife? Because she's on the same level with me. It's like, maybe it is because we're married, but all vocalists have egos. And like, if somebody doesn't, there's something that they're not honest about, except Lord Nelson. Lord Nelson is the coolest vocalist out there. But all this to say, there are a lot of like vocalists with big egos. Right. So I could see how it could be difficult working with somebody else in that capacity to share the stage and be the front person. But working with my wife, we respect each other and so much, and our vocal styles complement each other. What we do, I can't do the things she can do. She can do the things I can do, but she does respect me for how I do it and how I write my lyrics. Yeah. And what I am able to do. So it was a great dynamic working with her. And I even got her to do, some R&B type of singing, like on our latest single we put out, Forgotten Days. I straight up told her, I kind of want you to sound like what The Weeknd sounds like, how he does his flow of singing rappy stuff. Do that. Yeah. And that's how we came up with those parts. And she also started rapping too. So some of the parts where she's rapping, I initially wrote it for me to just rap. And I'm like, okay, like in a song like Make Believe, we have the rapping bridge together where she goes, she spits, and then I go and spit. And I wrote that. I wrote the entire thing, and then I'm just like, just do it. Just do it with your voice. And she's such a fast and adaptable learner that she just killed it. It was like I didn't have to tell her what to do. She just heard what I did. She's like, okay, this is it, and she went ahead and did it. It's like it really reminds me of like whenever she's doing a rapping part like that. Reminds me of Fergie in the Black Eyed Peas, like how she just like she doesn't consider herself to be a rapper, but here she is. She's able to do it anyway. So.
Well, you know, I'm big on flow. I'll have to start calling you guys Jay-Z and Beyonce, you know. Out there doing your thing, because Beyonce gets out there and can run it also. But I always say, like, Jay wrote that for her. He had to. He had to, you know. But no, that's
probably
love, man. No, it's love that you guys can get together like that and work together harmoniously, you know. Yeah. Still as husband and wife, man. And you guys are truly doing work, man. I love it, man. It's a great sound. It really is. So, how much fun was it to make the video Kings Today? And who came up with the video treatment?
Oh, that video was incredible. That was actually our film director, Chris Kells, who's also the bassist in The Agonist. This was Chris Kells' idea through and through. He had this food fight idea for years and years, and he was always telling everybody about it, like, oh, I want to film this video. I really want to film this video concept. And all metal bands are like, oh, we're serious. We're metal. We can't joke around. So Vicky was like, hey, we got this band Sicksense, and we're all about the fun and just, you know, having a good time. Like, we don't care. We're a bunch of goofballs. You know, we kind of have that thing like Stuck Mojo has, where it's like you get on stage and the lyrics can be serious, but it's like Rich taught me that. He's like, this is how Devin Townsend performs, where it's like he's just having a good time. Let's have a good time. It should be fun. You're putting on a show for the audience, and you should make people feel welcome and that they are a part of the show. So we're all about that. So we want to have that for our live shows when we eventually do them, and we want to put that out in our music when we can, if it makes sense, and do it in our videos. Like, this was the perfect opportunity to do that. It was like the lyrics are very confrontational, like about arguments going on in the world where people have to pick sides, and it's like at the end of the day, we're all just people, you know. It doesn't matter what you believe in. We all want the same thing. We just want good health, you know, survive, get through each day, enjoy our time here, because it's so short anyway. So it was funny how we had the whole food fight going on, and we had this outsider, the bear, Deli the bear, just chilling there, like, you know, watching like, what's going on with these fooligans over here, and we're just having fun. And then I just end it with like, hey, you know, who wants pie, you know, like sit down, like, and let's find some common ground. Let's have something we all enjoy. And like for me, it's really music. Like, I love that music does that, where it's like you could have whatever belief you want and it doesn't matter to me. It's like I don't care. If I like your music, I like your music. And then at the end of the day, you know, coming together at a show, we're all vibing. So it's like there's that. We have that. It's like you can't be like, oh, I don't like this person or that person, when it's like we love the same thing, you know. Like, we could at least, if there must be something that can connect us, and it happens to be music for a lot of people. So,
of course, music is a time machine. Music is universal. Music is like one of the greatest things ever in life. I don't think I could actually live without it. I need it. It feeds my soul. It does a lot for me. I just must say, I love it. I love it. So I love to see I love to say that a lot. But it always gets me into my next question. So in the foreseeable future, Sicksense, where will your main focus be?
We just want to right now build our brand, you know, educate the audiences, let people know who we are. So we're doing a lot of PR stuff. We hired a great PR team here in the States, working with our publicist, Kevin Chiaramonte from PFA Media. Great dude. We're working with Hold Tight in the UK and Europe. And they've been doing a great job. So it's all about that. We just want to push ourselves out there, try to get these stream numbers up, try to get these YouTube views up.
Right.
And just let people know that we're around. And we're not in a rush to play any shows, but we're building the brand. And we actually have a second EP coming out either at the end of this year or the start of 2023, because we went in mind with like writing an entire full album. We did, and we recorded it. And then the pandemic happened, and we decided to, okay, let's not waste these songs. Also, you know, so that was one reason why we split it in two. But another reason was like, you know what, honestly, people nowadays, music listeners, at least with the younger audience, they're very like ADHD, where they cannot like pay attention long enough to listen through an entire album, which is a shame, because you should be able to listen to from song one to the very end, because to me it tells an entire story that you're missing out on, and you miss the point. But that being said, a lot of people don't do that anymore, at least with I see with younger audiences and people my age, they don't do that. So to make the most out of the songs we wrote and recorded, we wanted to split it into an EP, and that way we can, two EPs, so that we can promote more songs. And this way, like, we have 5 songs on our EP Kings Today, and we already put out 3 music videos. So that's great. So practically almost all the songs have the music video treatment for it, which is incredible. So we just working on new music. So we already have another 5 songs that are going to be coming out after this first EP is coming out, and we're working on even more content. So I want to, by the end of this year, I want to have song written an entire new album, and then we'll see what happens with that. Maybe we'll put it out as a full-length album, or we'll do the same thing. Maybe if this formula works, we'll just split it in 2 again and keep creating content in the meanwhile.
Yeah, we can tell you guys are putting in work, man. It's you guys are working. You're really doing things. And of course, I've watched you talk about your business stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
I paid attention, man. You know, I'm not one to be out, you know, but I paid attention. So I'd see you do something, I definitely watch it. You know, I'm just like, okay, that makes sense. Like, Rob's a wild dude, man. He's a
I love it. I love doing business. I love helping people out and giving back. I learned a lot of this stuff from working with Rich and Mark Willis. Like, Mark Willis sat me down and I had conversations with him, and he was like brainwashing me, kind of like in a positive way, like letting me know all the good stuff, like the do's and don'ts, kind of like a father figure. And like unfortunately I don't talk to Mark too much, but I'd love it for him to know that like he really left an impact on me for the better. And it changed me completely. And like, I'm very business minded, and I always strive to do a do it yourself work ethic. That's what I want to have. And like, the more I can do on my own, the happier and the better I feel. Like it really feels fulfilling knowing like, hey, we had these ideas, and you know, you're just making goals and you're accomplishing them. You're doing it. I don't see like goals as like something that's like this thing that's unreachable. It's like, no, there's ways, like whatever you want in this life, you can set your mind to it and work towards it. But there's steps, you know, you can't just like zip through the process. It doesn't work that way. You don't get no teleportation going on. You got to walk the journey. So I'm loving it. So I'm very happy working with Sicksense and everybody in this band, and our team that like from our graphic designers, working with Chris Kells, our video guy, working with our producer, Christian Donaldson. Everybody's important. And it's like, this is what you need to be successful in the music industry today. You really need to build a team around yourself and adapt. Use the technology, use the social media to put yourself out there. And there's ways to make money today too that wasn't possible decades ago, even when there was like rock star bands like Motley Crue getting these multi-million-dollar deals. It's very cool what the internet is doing for us, and you know, having platforms like Twitch where you can perform live. Right. You could put your music out there and like make money. Your audience is donating and supporting you that way. It's like being able to busk on the street. Instead of doing that, you're online in the comfort of your own home right here. I could just perform. I could just start rapping here on Twitch, put on the stream, and people will show up and support me if they want to. And they don't have to. If they don't want to, they can still watch it for free. Right. But I'm able to do what I love. So.
Well, thank you for all that you just said right there. That was good, because while you were speaking, there were certain things I wanted to ask you, but you just incorporated all that about having a team, how important that is. And you know, having a team is super important, because we would love to do everything ourselves, everything, but it's almost impossible to get where you want to, you know, be by just trying to do it by yourself. So, hey, that's some good words and good information and good education for all of you aspiring artists out there. You need a great team. Corey Lowry said the same thing. You need a great team. So many people I know that are like, who are super successful. You need a team. So get you guys a team of some people you can trust that believe in you.
Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't believe in your dream, you know. Everybody doesn't believe in your dream, you know, but you got to keep working hard doing the things you're doing, man. That's love, man. Another good, listen, man, I have great guests on here, man. Listen to what's going on, man. It's Robbie J Pod's doing work, ladies and gentlemen. Loving it. So,
thank you.
COO of Sound Escape Agency.
Yep.
Educate us on what this agency is and offers.
All right. Yeah. So I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Sound Escape Agency.
Get on that box and talk that talk, baby.
Yeah. It's the business I run with my wife, who's the CEO. And we decided to make her just be the CEO because women actually get bigger tax breaks and all that. So it's like, yeah, women power. Let's do it. But it was created in a way for us to really just have an online store. Because at the time I was doing my wrestling, my tag team, Collateral Damage. I was in Repentance at the time. I knew Sicksense was coming. And Vicky started doing her solo stuff, creating her Patreon and doing Twitch streams. And she created her own solo merch designs. And eventually I was hoping that we would look good enough to get her other band, to The Agonist, on board with us too. And now they are in taking care of their merch. We're doing that for them. And I just wanted to have like a one-stop shopping online instead of creating various different online stores for every single project. Right. Like I mentioned earlier, it's like I love doing stuff and creating and helping other people out too, and being a part of the community and making it better, and just being involved in as many different things as I can. So we wanted to just have one online store, and it started with that as just a means for us, just to facilitate our personal projects, have one store, and then register with the state of Illinois to have a legitimate business through it too, so that, you know, we're making a lot of sales online. We didn't want it. You can't be doing that. You need to be a legitimate business at that point. If you have dozens of orders coming in on a regular basis, the IRS is going to come after you if you don't do things the right way.
Yes,
you just have to do. You have to play the game. You have to just do things the right way. Like there's just like certain ways you have to do things in this life, and just educate yourself to do them correctly so you don't get yourself in any trouble. And it was just like that, but we just wanted an online store. But over time, like, other people started hitting us up. They're like, hey, this is a cool agency. What's this about? And then they would reach out to us directly. They'd send us a message on our contact form, and then they'd find out. And then I always respond to the emails. I'm the guy who usually takes care of anybody who contacts us. Like, I help them out. And they could ask me from anything from like, hey, what's your opinion on this? What do you think of this song? Like, what would you change here? Or like, what should we do as a business plan? How do we do the things that you're doing or that you have done with your other bands? And I help them out. I straight up just help them out. So it's like, if I feel it's worth my time, and this is a band that, what I mean by worth my time is like, I need to see that drive in somebody. If I can see that somebody is passionate, and they're just like in a rough spot because either there was nobody there to educate them on something, or they just don't know, but they're passionate and they want to get from point A to point B, I will help them and, you know, give them my advice. And my mentality is like, I don't want to be a fisherman and just like fish and just hand you fish all the time. I want to teach people how to fish.
Right.
So it's like, I want to teach them, like, this is how I do things. This is how it should be done. This is my opinion on this. I think, you know, the industry standard might be this, but I think if we're doing this thing this way, you'll find more success and you'll cut through in a better way. So
right.
That's what we're about. We're really about helping out people, and I want to see the metal industry become a better place. And I think it could be better. There's a lot to work on. There's a lot of things that I simply don't think make sense. And I hate this idea of like there being gatekeepers or people telling you, well, things have to go this way because that's how they've always been, or this is how they are going. It's like, I don't care. You could do that. I'll pave my own road. Like, I don't give a shit to drive on yours. If that's like, if it's going to lead me off a cliff, I don't care. I'd rather just take things safe, be in control of it, and, you know, do my own thing. So that's what we're about.
Drive on your road if you're going to take, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, like people love to like threaten you or push you in a corner, and it's like, nah, you know, I don't have to deal with that at all. I'm just gonna go this way. How about that?
100%, man. Respect to that, man. Respect to that. I love that. I love it. Yeah. So again, you're also a voice actor.
Oh yeah.
How'd you get into this field, man?
That was awesome. That was, you know, that was a full circle thing for me because that was something I was always into. Like I felt like I naturally had that. Like I worked my ass off in wrestling, and I worked my ass off to become a better vocalist because I have I had no skills when I started whatsoever. But the voice acting was something I was just naturally good at. I was always good at like imitating people, and like watching wrestling, I would like imitate wrestlers' entrances just for fun and like try to imitate their voices. Like I'd be like, "Oh, Booker T, can you dig it, sucker?" And like I loved it. Like I loved those guys. Like just having fun with it. So like just doing a bunch of impressions and stuff like that. Something I was always natural at, but when I actually got to do it professionally was with this very cool agency, this other one called La Fabrique de Monstres, the Monster Factory, based in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's run by this incredible guy, voice actor, and other metal. Hey, I'm wearing a shirt. This is his band, Necrotic Mutation. Sébastien Croteau, that's his name, and he runs the Monster Factory, La Fabrique de Monstres. And his goal and vision was to have metal vocalists from all over the world. He has assembled an international team from metal musicians from legitimate bands that are part of this voice acting team. And one of the gigs I got was for Dead by Daylight. And I voiced Jonathan Byers from the Stranger Things chapter in that game. Yeah. So my character is... it was a downloadable content character, but because he was a licensed character, you can't actually buy him anymore. So you could still play as that character in the game, but Netflix pulled the license from Behavior Interactive. But if you were fortunate enough to get it when you could still play as that character. But yeah, I did the voiceover for him, and it was very cool. I just couldn't announce it when people were able to buy it, which sucked, but it's all love, and I hope that I can do some more of this because it's really in my element.
Awesomeness, man. It's awesome, man. So now I'm just kind of like freestyling. What else do I want to ask you, man?
You'd ask me anything.
No, man, it's just cool. I've had a great time with everybody who's been on here.
Yeah.
And just talking about music and learning about them. You know, that's good to me. I like to talk. I like to listen to. But I want to know what people are going through. And you have a very interesting story, you know, of how you came to Stuck Mojo and how you were already doing your thing. And then when you said reading that book, you know, you ordered this book to learn how to rap or whatever. But let me tell you something. I'm big on flow. Big on flow and how you ride that beat. Because sometimes I'm like, man, what is he listening to? Not you. I'm saying that the artist, I'm just like, what is he listening to?
Yeah.
That's not the vibe of that song. They're way over there doing something else. I'm just like, it kills me because I'm just big on flow. I love flow. I can't help it. When I hear somebody who's got that nice flow, I'm with it. Just like you said, Cool G Rap. The way he just had a flow, had a unique voice. He talks with a lisp and raps with a lisp, of course. But he's amazing. And Rakim and all that. Anyway, man.
All these gentlemen, they would draw you in and like bring you into their world, and you're listening and you're paying attention to every word they're saying. It's like, what? And it's like, where's it going? And then they would twist it and like take it like a whole other way, and you're like, whoa.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So have you had opportunity to talk to Bones at all?
On occasion, not a deep conversation by any means, but like, you know, we hit each other up. Like I messaged him because like it was a respect thing for me. Like of course, Bones and yourself are big influences for me. You're one of the first rappers I listened to growing up when I started discovering music. I tell people this all the time. I found one of the first bands I was listening to was Fozzy because they were on the No Way Out pay-per-view. Their song Enemy was out in 2004. I listened to that. I discovered them, and YouTube came out. And when YouTube was out, I actually heard, you know, Rising and Open Season were one of the first songs that I heard on YouTube back in like 2007. So but going back to Bones, I wish I could speak to him some more, but you know, he's doing his own thing, and I'm doing mine. So
I told Rich when when Fozzy was here, I was like, man, so many people have asked. I said, and I just put it out there to him. I was just like, one of these days, man, you got to get all three of us together, man. It's like Bone said, for Mouth of the Mojo, the mouths of Mojo. I said,
oh yeah,
that would be something else, man. I mean, just go out maybe just one time, just do a nice little tour or something like that. I think it would be amazing.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think, we've been not doing anything for a while now, but I think it's a shame that the world doesn't have Mojo. I would at least want, either Bones or you to even just do at least one show a year. Just nothing, no harm in that, putting on some promo. And
yeah, I just think, I think really we could do it, the three of us. You know what I'm saying? Once a year, if we could work it out, get together and just bam. Because I never got to perform at the Masquerade, but we took some pictures at the Masquerade. But it would just be awesome to everybody just like boom, congregate there. Kind of like where Stuck Mojo really started and got that, that momentum.
Yeah.
Just go down there and just do work, man. It would be love, man.
I'd love that. Hey, I'm open for it. So
I'm open for it, man. I'm clown with Rich, man. But it's like I tell, now I'm gonna mess with him. So Sean and Rich and Bones, they're big time in me right now. I was just like, okay, all right. I'm only gonna ask you a couple of times, because we all have egos. Mine is even bigger than I am.
Everybody and their egos. I don't care. I'm
saying everybody has an ego, meaning like I'm just speaking about me. I don't know about their egos.
I know.
Mine. I'm just saying mine is a gigantic one, even though I'm really the most humble person in the world. I really am. I just want to be the best human being that I could be. I'm not worried about a lot of stuff. I don't get into a lot of crazy stuff. Never, ever, ever. I just do what I do, and I enjoy the music. I enjoy the project that I'm working on with my boy Matt Acevedo right now. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We're having a great time, and we're taking our time, as you said before, like the Sicksense, and just making sure things are right. We got the proper people, I believe, behind us right now, and things are looking good, man.
Good.
Again, having a team doing work. So listen, man, I pay attention to what you're doing. Don't think I'm not paying attention. Listen, I know you're 40 years younger than I am. Doesn't matter. It's all about information, man. It's all about information and continuing to learn. And you've educated a lot of people. I think that as much as Mark and them were telling you stuff, I think they were looking at you also, paying attention, because you've got a definite drive to do things. It's Mark Willis, but I call him Bruce. I don't know if he likes it or not, but I always call him Bruce. I was like, Die Hard, what's going on, Bruce? What's the deal? I have fun with everybody, man. It's just me. Yeah. It's all love. But anyway, bro, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. We definitely need to keep in touch, and I will continue to support whatever you're doing. If you're, out there fishing, if you're out there eating, what is it, poutine? Poutine, whatever you're doing, you may, have a show where that's what you do. You go to the best, poutine places in Canada. I don't know, whatever it is, bro. I'm gonna support you and show love always, man, and respect to you and everything you're doing and your beautiful wife, man. It's all love, man. Just thank you, man. I really, really, really appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So again, I gotta work on that, but I like the way it sounds when I go back and listen to it. So. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Live and Loud. I'm going to pause, and then what do I usually say after that?
With Lord Nelson.
Nelson, that is. Hold on, we're going to do it again. Corey had it right, so we're going to work on it again. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Live and Loud with the Lord
Nelson. Sheesh.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about, man. Thank you so much, man. And this is pleasure. Robbie J. Fonts, Rob the Ripper. Yes, indeed, man. Love it. Thank you so much for being on the show, bro. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Lord. Appreciate you.
Get my actions, leave me alone with my agony. I can't take another second. This is not who I'm supposed to be.
Hush, little angel, don't you say another word. If you let go of the anger, your boy Charlie will be hurt. Hasn't anyone told you it's darkest before the dark? Your trouble
going on, everybody? It's Chris Aiken, and just wanted to share a very limited edition of autographed books that I found that I am selling right now over at Chris Aiken Books. I've got this one. I know it doesn't look like it has anything on the cover, but it's got a lot inside. This is my book, Cause and Effect Metallica, about the Metallica Black Album. It's one of my more successful books, and I ran out of copies long ago to sign and sell, but I found a few, and I do mean very few. So if you want one, there's like, I don't know, maybe 5 of them that are available for sale as of today. So get it now over at chrisaikenbooks.com, chrisaikenbooks.com. Cause and Effect Metallica on sale now.